It's time for Peptide Talk, featuring Garrett Pope. Now, here is your host, Joe Zapata.
All right, guys, welcome to another week of Peptide Talk. We were a little bit off last week, a little change of schedule, but we'll be back to normal soon. I'm here, of course, with my co-host, Garrett, the king of peptides, Pope. What's going on, Garrett?
So, how you doing?
What is going on, man? Before we actually get started, let's also, if you can, go to equipfoods.com, use promo code JerseyJZ, and get 15% off your order. They got new banana protein out. They got all kinds of creatine. They got a lot of stuff there. So go there, try it out, use promo code JerseyJZ, and you'll get 15% off your order. All right, Garrett, I want to talk today about some stuff going on. I hope you don't plead the fifth on anything we talk about today. So why don't we start off with that subject right there today, and we talk about Dr. Fauci, okay? Obviously, he's in the news. The hearing's going on. You know, we've said it a long time about COVID. We totally do not like it. The whole thing that went on, the government screwed us over. What do you think about now Dr. Fauci testifying and everything going on with that situation?
I like to call him the rat or Captain COVID. Okay. You remember you and I used to joke about it. Dum, 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 Captain Chaos.
Yes. Yes.
We got Captain COVID here now with Fauci, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Him pleading the fifth, you know, a viral clip surfaced from 2022 when Fauci was asked at a press conference, if you are called before the Senate, will you testify or will you plead the fifth? And he stood there and said, I will absolutely testify. In case you people don't realize, I've testified before the Senate dozens of times before. I'm not afraid of anything. I will answer all questions. And there you have this little sniveling bitch yesterday pleading the fifth over and over. You know, there's that meme going on with Dave Chappelle. Remember? I plead the fifth. Okay, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's what basically Fauci was yesterday. You know, his lawyer got thrown out of court. Okay. He just sat there and pled the fifth all day long. That was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. And anybody out there that still thinks their COVID shot was safe or still thinks that rat was a hero, they have to have their brain examined.
Yes.
Because if, you know.
100%. I really wish I can go back to my old job, those people in charge of my old job. Get it. They were taking direction from Fauci and all the other people. But just to say, because I tried, I said in these meetings, it was like, because they wanted me on the COVID board with my other, and I'm like, because all the, you know, we didn't know what to do. Everyone's getting sick. I said, let's not make this mandatory to have a shot, because you don't know what you're putting. If someone who works out and, you know, puts stuff in their body, you really got to be careful. And they were like, no, the government. I'm like, back and forth. It was just a lot of things going on, you know. And I said, you know, I said, long-term effects, we're going to hear about it down the road. And sure enough, here we are. Dr. Fauci's on there, and he's not even answering questions.
And he pleaded the fifth. I mean, this guy had nothing to hide. He would stand before Congress and defiantly respond to them and tell them how wrong they are. Instead, he's just pleading the fifth left and right. And, you know, there's a reason. Listen, I say to people, you don't get a blanket pardon from the previous president if you didn't do anything wrong. Correct. And that's the honest truth. There's no reason why would you get a blanket pardon? And,
correct.
You know, so that's why I say, you know, get out of here with that garbage. You know what I mean? Like the guy is the biggest fraud going. He's the biggest joke going. And like I said, you know, anybody that doesn't believe me, you can punch up interviews back from the 80s when he used to tell people AIDS, you can be in the same room with somebody with AIDS and you can catch it just from being in the same room with them. He said that in an interview on ABC News back in, like, I think it was like 1985 or 86, you know, at the height of the AIDS. You know, anybody that wants to, they can look that up on YouTube, by the way, the interview. You can look that up on YouTube, and there he is saying, you know, you don't understand. You can be in the same room and catch AIDS from somebody. He was fear-mongering back then. He's fear-mongering with COVID, and now he's hiding. And, you know, the guy's just the biggest rat weasel. That's a great word for him, weasel.
Yeah, a lot of people died under his watch, and he made like $2 million, $3 million from this. I don't know. That's what they're saying, something like that.
Oh, I think even more.
Yeah,
I think a lot more, because he had that Wuhan lab in China. He had a piece of. Okay.
Wow.
He had a piece of that, so he made a lot more than 2 or 3 million. He's his home in DC is a $2.4 million home in a private area of DC.
Yeah.
And he's a doctor, but come on, let's be serious.
I heard he had stock in a Perel hand sanitizer.
Yeah. Well, his wife is a big pharma high up.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. The whole thing, it's so shady. It's not even funny. But people rather sit there and go, release the Epstein tapes. Trump did this. Trump did that. And, Trump is the one that killed everybody during COVID. Come on, people, give me a break.
Yeah,
give me a
100%.
break.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Yep. Another story that we were going to talk about, and I hope this doesn't affect you. It came up here and it says peptide influencers are being targeted, and maybe I don't know if you see this here. The sellers could be prosecuted on the crackdown on black market. You sent me this story. What is this about? What does this mean?
Well, first things first, let me just throw out there, I think that's a very racist statement. And the reason why I think it's a very racist statement is, how come everything negative is always called black? Crackdown on black market, Black Friday shopping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I just, maybe they should call it the gray market. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the gray market, yes.
But anyway, I saw that. That happens to be, I believe, in United Arab Emirates, where this story emanated from. I'm almost sure. Australia, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, all these different places, they are cracking down on it. China claims they're cracking down on it, but that's where it's all coming from. So, I don't believe anything China says. You know what I mean? But listen, there's going to be more crackdowns. This is just the beginning of it, because once these peptides are officially FDA approved, and which they've been passed, but anybody out there, there's people out there right now saying, okay, that's it, they're FDA approved. No. The FDA voted to approve them. It doesn't mean they're available yet. That's not, people are getting confused. So once you can get it through certain outlets and compounding pharmacies, they're going to go around and crack down on all this, gray market area, because the government will lose money then. Yep. And that's the last thing they want.
Yep, 100%. And speaking of which, we obviously had the FDA meetings, which was the big thing. You're right. Did you open fine? I just saw you fly across. Okay.
Vader was going to pee on something.
Okay. So we had the FDA meetings went on, and now, so Garrett, we had the FDA meetings. Talk about the results. Is this good? Is this bad? What is your opinion?
All right. They've approved BPC 157. They've approved other peptides. I believe they've just approved 4 or 7 peptides to be legalized now. Okay. What I mean by legalized is compounding pharmacies, doctors can prescribe them, this and that. It's good and it's bad. The reason why it's bad is prices are going to skyrocket on these things, and they're going to go after the gray markets to try to pull them out of the gray markets. Okay. It's good because it's being recognized. And when people like myself for 13 years now, 12, 13 years now, have been singing the praises of BPC and these other products, I'm sitting there now going, wow, so you're telling me I was right all along. When I was called crazy, when I was called a conspiracy theory, when I was called, a test subject, and that's like using lab rat stuff. And this, so I was right all along. But where the bad side comes in, great, that's great, get a pat on the back, but the prices are going to skyrocket now because that's what the government wants. Good. The government doesn't legalize anything unless they can make money off of it.
Correct.
That's just it. That's it. So, and a side note on that, with the Eli Lilly thing, okay,
yes.
with them in their final stages of the Retatrutide, okay, and that's going to be in the first quarter of 2027, okay. Here's what a lot of people don't know about this, okay. Number one, Eli Lilly is filing a biologics license application in quarter number 1 in 2027, okay. Now, the reason why is that is for a big pharma's max profit strategy. And I'll explain why, exactly what that means, okay?
Okay.
If Retatrutide is labeled as a biologic, that means there is no legal compounding of Retatrutide, not even in a shortage.
Really?
So, while they're telling people, yeah, we're going to, no. What they're doing is they're saying, you will get this through Eli Lilly and Eli Lilly only. Otherwise, you're taking the ability away to get it at all.
That's crazy.
Now, the FDA only counts alpha amino acids, okay? More than 40. Retatrutide has 39 alpha amino acids in its backbone. Therefore, that's why they can classify it as this. Biologics are not eligible for 503A or 503B compounding exemptions. So let me give you a little hint of this. Do you remember back in 2020? You might remember this, you might not. There was a huge HCG shortage, okay? Huge HCG shortage. And HCG is used for many, many different things, okay? And for anybody out there, just make sure you focus on what I'm saying. I'm not saying HGH, I'm saying HCG, okay? And in 2020, when it was a huge shortage, HCG came off the bulks list when the FDA reclassified it as a biologic. So that is why they reclassified it as a biologic, and all of a sudden people had a hard time getting it for a period of time, okay? Also, when you classify something as a biologic, you are entitled to 12 years exclusivity instead of just 5, which means the drug will stay expensive longer. So from what I'm hearing is they're going to price point Retatrutide at about $3,000 a month.
Wow.
That's absurd.
That's crazy.
That's off the charts absurd. And the other problem is most, I'm not saying all, most insurances won't cover that. Most insurance, because that's an elective, they're going to look at it as an elective, medication. Most insurances will say, no, we won't cover that. So if somebody wants Retatrutide, that means they're paying, and Eli Lilly knows it, they're paying $3,000 out of pocket. Out of pocket. So it's going to be for the rich and famous. That's what it's going to be for. It's going to be Hollywood. It's going to be Hollywood's drug. If you can afford $3,000 a month, just side money to throw away every single month. Talking a 12-week supply. We're not talking about a 6. You're talking about every month. So 4 shots. Remember, that's a once a week shot. 4 shots. So if you do the math, that's $750 a shot.
Wow, that's insane.
Yep. So
these companies don't care about
the reason
people.
why
They don't care.
the reason why they're doing this is they don't want a repeat of the compound semaglutide. Okay, semaglutide. What happened with that is they didn't have the exclusivity for that for 12 years. It was only 5 years. The drug companies. So now they're classifying this as a biologic. You get 12 years of exclusivity. That means 12 years of just raking in the money hand over fist.
These guys could just make up stuff. These companies could just make up laws and do things to work around the system so that we all get screwed. They didn't care.
Pretty much.
Pretty
much. That's why, I was telling people last week, I'm like, you better stock up on Retatrutide. You better quarter number 1 come, next year. I'd say January. You don't know if Retatrutide is going to be available for it anymore. So if you're somebody who uses Retatrutide, I'd stock up on enough if I was you, because I'm going to be honest, it's probably going to be disappearing quick. Because
Wow.
you're going to tell me Eli Lilly is spending all this money on all these studies and this and that, and you think they're going to market it and they're going to go, yeah, we'll let all the gray markets still sell it. We don't mind that. Of course not. They're going to want them all swept up because that's money they're going to lose. Why would somebody pay $3,000 a month when they can buy it for a lot less? Do you see what I'm saying?
There's always ways around that stuff too. You're always going to find it always, but you don't know what it's going to be. I mean, will that affect you too? Probably.
Yeah, it will. To an extent. It's one of those, like, maybe it will, maybe it will. There were things in the past that I thought would affect me, and it didn't at all. It didn't at all. There was still, I was basically told, don't worry, business as usual. Okay, cool. So, now I do remember when the HCG shortage that was a problem. That was a shortage for a while. That I do remember. That was legit. And then obviously it loosened up. Probably the same thing with Retatrutide. But see, the problem with this is we've gone from a GLP-1 all the way now to a GLP-3, which is a triple antagonist, which is Retatrutide. Do you think Retatrutide as a triple antagonist is going to be the shit for the next 12 years for their exclusivity? No. You want to know why? Because I'm telling you right now, there are already studies on a GLP-4.
Yep. That's what I was going to say.
They're doing studies already on a GLP-4. So Retatrutide will be pushed to the wayside because there'll be a GLP-4 coming up. So I joke around, and what this is going to be like is like the latest iPhone, where you have iPhone 27. Eventually, we'll get to GLP 27. You know what I'm saying? It's going to they're going to keep on coming up with one better. And the whole idea behind that is people will keep always wanting to buy the newest, latest one. It works out in every other product. Look how they make the phones. Look how they make everything else. It's the same thing with this. People want the latest, the greatest, the best. Even if they don't understand how it works, if you just explain to them, this is the best there is right now. Okay, I want the best.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, that was one other thing before I forget on the Retatrutide. Very, very important. One other thing. I'm going to read this exactly to people so they understand this. Let me just find the exact breakdown. So, all right. Eli Lilly's latest phase 3 clinical trial results demonstrates that its investigational triple antagonist drug Retatrutide delivers unprecedented weight loss that directly rivals bariatric surgery. Okay? But here's the catch. In the pivotal Triumph 1 trial data published in late May 2026, participants were taking the highest dose possible of Retatrutide, 12 milligrams a week, and lost an average of 28.3% of their body weight over 80 weeks.
Wow.
Hold on a minute. 80 weeks. For anybody out there that doesn't understand, there's 52 weeks in a year. Okay? I might have just taught somebody something. But anyway, there's 52 weeks in a year. They're doing this on 80 weeks at 12 milligrams a week. Do you know something? Anybody I talk to, anybody that I coach on this, I tell them you take this at 12 weeks at a time, and then you have to come off. 12 weeks on, I'd like you to take at least 12 weeks off. If you had at the bare minimum, you take 2 months off. But 12 weeks on, 12 weeks off. The second thing, I have never, ever had somebody go up, nobody I've dealt with, up to 12 milligrams in a week. Ever.
Wow.
Usually when somebody hits the highest marker that I've ever gone with somebody to 7.5 milligrams a week, they claim, wow, I've got no appetite. I don't feel good. Let's scale it down. Okay. But I don't go that high. Most people between 1 to 2.5 milligrams a week. Remember the story we did on Josh a few weeks ago? Okay. The highest he went up to was 2.5 milligrams a week, and look how much weight he lost in 12 weeks.
Wow.
So I don't understand how they're saying 12.5 milligrams a week. And again, you can find this online for anybody that doesn't believe it, over an 80-week span. That's absurd. And if that's how they're going to market it to people, oh, we want you on a 12.5, because understand 12.5 milligrams, you're going to go through your supply like this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's why they're probably doing it.
Yep. And they want you on for 80 weeks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they want you on for a long time. So they just want to milk you of your money. You don't need that. That's an absurd dosage. I'm just, that dose. I've never, ever had anybody even approach double digits weekly on that. Nor would I. I've never told, I tell people, you go between 1 to 2.5 milligrams and you hold that weekly, and they see great results of it. Slow, steady weight loss. You don't need to lose 80 pounds. You know what I'm trying to say here? It's, but I think what they're doing is they're marketing this towards the clinically obese. So they want to market this towards the person that is 490 pounds and they want to be 220 pounds. Because what the key word there is, it rivals the surgery, the weight loss surgery. Okay. So they're looking at that, the clinically obese.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's always going to be, 20 years from now, there's always going to be fat people. There's always going to be fat people. But 20 years from now, there will be no excuse for you not being at least in shape or thin, because with all these drugs coming out, everything available to you now, there's no reason the people are going to be fat anymore. I mean, yes, we're going to eat and all that garbage and all the processed shit, but still, they're going to have all the drugs ready for us. They give it and shove it down to make their money.
Absolutely. Like I said, there's exercise in a pill coming up, and there's all this different stuff. There's no reason. You're right. I mean, listen, the way I look at it is, there's no reason for somebody to be a fat bastard now or even in the past. Just get your ass, eat right, get your ass in the gym. Okay. I mean,
that's hard work.
It's hard work. That's the thing. But I've proven it with people before. Okay, that are fat asses. And if you will commit and you'll put in the effort and you'll eat correctly and you train and you do things right, you can lose the weight. It will take time. See, here's the two things people don't like: effort and time. Oh my God, that's a lot of effort to do. Oh, well, how much effort was it to shove all that food in your fat mouth? Number two, time. Oh, but I don't want to lose all that weight over a 2-year span. That's a long time. I have a wedding coming up that I have to be, my niece's wedding. I have to be in shape in 4 months. Okay. So you are 390 pounds. How long did it take you to get to that weight? Oh, I don't know, 20 years. So if you took 20 years to put that weight on, why would it take you 4 months to take it off?
100%.
And I've always said that to people. Why would you take all that weight off that fast if it took you all those years to put it on? People want instant it's an instant gratification type thing.
Yep.
They want it right then. The same way people don't understand, the same thing like with the gym. They want instant gratification. They want to join a gym, and after working out for 6 weeks and not seeing the results they want, I'm going to get on stuff. I'm going to get on steroids. I'm going to get on. Wait a minute. You just joined the gym. You've been training for 6 weeks. What the hell? Come on. Put in the work. Or like when people say to me, what do I have to do to look like you? Or how long do I have to train to look like that? And I just look at them and I go, I've been training since I've been 14 years old. I've probably been training longer than you've been alive. Come see me when you hit all those years.
Yep.
People don't want to do it though. People want the instant gratification. If they don't see the results in a year, this is too much work. I can't do this my whole life.
Yep. I'll give you a great example. So two people I know very close. One of them was working out with me and wanted to see the results quickly, and she stopped. And she was only working out with me maybe like once a week, and then she was like, wasn't doing what I was telling her to do at the gym with me. And she's like, went on her own, started the GLP-1s, lost a ton of weight, but she has that Ozempic face look. Someone else started working out with me, doing the right thing, coming to the gym with me every day, eating right, watching everything, and she's built on more muscle and looks great compared to the one person who just said, I can't do this long. I got to do something else, and took the GLP-1s, and now she's thin, but looks like she's going to die because she got the face, the whole 9 yards, and it doesn't look healthy.
Yep.
People, like you said,
And
people do not want to spend time.
They want instant gratification, and the thing is, they don't want to put in the work. And what I tell everybody is, you can use the GLP-1s. Nothing wrong with that. You have to still train, though.
No.
And like you just said, no muscle on the body. At the end of the day, so, and what I ask people is this: do all you care about is just the scale? Is to you, it doesn't matter what you look like in the mirror. It just matters what that scale says. Because if that's what you're chasing, the number, then yeah, get on all the GLPs you want. Don't worry about training, this and that, because you're never going to care anything. Because I have people literally that panic to me sometimes. Oh my God, I'm 155. I'm 155, females, 155 pounds. I don't want to be above 146 or 147 or whatever the hell it is. Do you realize, okay, this is muscle we're adding to your body, okay? But they're so concerned with the scale. And I tell everybody, the worst thing to do is have a scale that you weigh yourself in every day. It's horrible for you, okay?
Yep, 100%.
If you only care about a number, okay, get on all the GLP-1s, do all that, don't worry about anything else. If you care about truly aesthetics and what you look like, well, you gotta train. Nothing will replace training. I'm sorry, nothing will.
Yep. The girl I'm working out with, she gained about 3 pounds, and she's like, "Oh my God, 3 pounds." I said, "You're putting on muscle. You look," and she was a little bit like, "Oh my God." I said, "You look great. You're putting on muscle. That's what you want." The other girl was doing an hour of cardio on the GLP-1s. An hour. That's all she was doing was cardio. And I kept saying, "Get to the weights. Get to the weights." No, on the cardio machine.
Well, that's the other thing. I call them the cardio buddies. And the cardio bunnies, they'll do cardio an hour, 15 minutes, hour and 20. Cardio, and you're burning everything. You're burning muscle. That's why you look emaciated. But again, those are the people. The cardio bunnies are the GLP people. They just care about a number, the scale. They care about what the scale says, and in their mind, they look in the mirror and they look good because they're like this now. And all right, but do you realize that's not good? Because as you age, you're going to have no muscle on your body. You're going to deteriorate. You're going to get weaker. You're going to get, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Okay. The FDA meetings that went on, doesn't this kind of support exactly what you've been saying a long time? For them to have these meetings and approve what they wanted to do, peptides obviously work. The FDA would not be doing this if it did not work. So these people, right? The FDA wouldn't go through all these meetings and all this trouble if it did not work and there wasn't a way to make money. But they know it works. And you've been saying it for how many years that these things work, right? Long time. Yep. So
it's funny. I got a message the other night. I'm going to read it right here from a doctor. Okay. And this doctor, I trained for.
Is this the one you sent me?
Let's see. What?
Did you send me this one? This picture of what the doctor said?
No.
Because you sent me this picture right here.
Yes. That's it. That's it right there. Yes, that's it. All right. Okay. Thank you. I forgot I sent that to you. Okay. So he sent me that the other night, and he was a doctor that I was very friendly with and trained from. Literally, I moved down 2006 to about 2017. Okay. But to give you an idea, the last time I really, trained him, saw him, this and that, was now he spends 6 to 8 months. He's retired now. So 6 to 8 months out of the year, he spends in Italy. And the rest of the time he spends here in the States. So last time I really saw him in 2017. So just to give you an idea, he sent me that the other night because he came across the podcasts and he was listening to the podcasts. Okay. And he sent me that basically saying, now that's going way back. Now I was telling him about the peptides back in 2013, 2014. Okay. Wow. And we continued the conversation after he sent me that. And he said, yeah. He goes, I remember you telling me about this stuff. He goes, way back. He goes, way back. He goes, you're going back. He goes, I didn't know what the hell you were talking about back then. He goes, I didn't know. He goes, peptides. What the hell are peptides? And this is a doctor. This is a guy who's a doctor. Okay. He was the VA doctor. And he said there, and he goes, I didn't know what you were talking about. I didn't know what peptides were. I never even heard of them before. And now they're all over the place.
Now they're all over the place.
Everywhere. And he even said to me, he goes, he's got some doctor's appointments for himself coming up. And he goes, after my doctor's appointments, he goes, I'm going to reach out to you because I want to get on peptides and I want to talk to you about it. And I said, yeah, absolutely. But that just goes to show you. And that's, to me, you don't understand, that little message he sent me right there put a smile on my face from ear to ear. Because that was vindication to me for so many people that in the past, when I would, I'm not saying in the past, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, would talk about peptides and they would just give me this look where they would go, what the hell is that? Oh, it's some witch doctor shit. I'm not putting that in my body, whatever. Okay. Well, you know what? I've been talking about this stuff for a very long time. And when people acknowledge that and let me know that, that's a big feather in my cap, because I sit there and go, I'm glad so-and-so remembered that. I'm glad because I was talking about this stuff for so long. And now that it's so popular, everyone's a peptide, champion now. Everybody's a peptide king now. Everybody knows everything there is to know about peptides now. And, I just sit back and I go, okay, where were you? Where were you back, 12 years ago, 13 years ago? You didn't know shit about peptides. You were still,
The first time I heard about peptides was actually through you, too. I was like, peptides, what is that? And you said, yeah, peptide. And I was like, what is he talking about? I didn't know. I had no idea. I had no fucking idea what peptide was. I had no idea. But now it's
and then popular. They blew up.
Yeah, and then they blew up.
I mentioned peptides to you. Yeah, it was a long time ago. And that's how then we came on to, to do the show, because peptides took off. And you even saying, oh my God, I remember you talking about peptides a long time ago.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? And
like, and peptides were like a dirty little secret then. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example. So, man, you're going back to 2016, 17. Okay. 2016, 17. And I was dating somebody that lived with me at the time. Okay. And I would have in the refrigerator, on the top shelf of the refrigerator, I would have all my peptide bottles, that after they were mixed, they had to be refrigerated, lined up on the top shelf on the door on the refrigerator. And they were all little holders and this and that. And she would all the time, that's the crazy science project, chef. And it's the same thing. And I would try to explain about peptides. I don't know what that stuff is. That's not that. I've never heard of it before. I've never, you know what I'm saying? What I would try to sit there and say is, listen to me about them. Listen, no, I don't know what that is about it. And now all of a sudden they're the greatest craze. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's using them. Everybody, and when I just sit there and I go, man, I wish more people would have listened to me. Instead of thinking, because I get out there sometimes, and people, they hear my COVID vax things and they hear my rants on other things and they think I'm insane, but I'm not. You just, listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even going back to when we were training together at Gold's Gym back in the day, there was, I remember like liquid D-ball and stuff. I didn't even know there was liquid D-ball. Like certain things, you were the first one to say, hey, this is out. We can do this, and this, or this was around. You would always bring out new stuff that no one really knew about at first. So that's why when you said peptides, I was like, what the fuck's he talking about? And now look at where we are today. Pretty crazy.
Back in the day, there was clenbuterol. And then they came out with, and I remember telling you this, we were at Gold's Gym, when they came out with the new clenbuterol with the Yohimbe built into the clenbuterol.
Yes.
And it was, and I remember talking about that, and you were like, what? And I was the first one, if you remember too, to introduce you. I told you about Tyranobol over Dianabol.
Yeah, exactly. Tyranobol over Dianabol.
Yeah. So it was little things, little things like that, and it was just, I've always looked because my thing is this, where my mentality is, listen, you don't have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to training, but there is different methods over time that have been proven work better than other methods as far as training. With this end of things, with the well history side of things, science, medicine, all that is constantly changing. If things are changing, why would you still use the same thing people used in the 80s? Right?
That's right.
Things have to change. Things are advanced. Things are, oh, this is better to use this. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Clenbuterol, you don't hear anybody using it anymore because there's so many things that have far surpassed that.
Correct.
Okay? But back in the 90s, Clenbuterol.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. 100%. I remember all that stuff. And that's why we were like Dr. Garrett, because you always knew the latest and updated thing. Now, let's not forget, in the 70s, you know, be doing steroids and everything was very a small knit community of people knew what to actually do. It was the underground steroid book. There's a lot of things people did not know. You know, it was very hush hush. You know, so it was very, no one knew. It was a very small niche community. And then it started getting bigger, and people, you were always around the bodybuilding people, so you always knew what was the latest and going around. And you would, you know, give us the information, and we would go and try out things, do whatever. And now, you know, with the internet, it's blown up to where it is where now everybody's an expert. It's kind of crazy.
And that's the problem. Everybody is getting on Instagram, and a lot of people shouldn't be out there giving that information.
Correct.
I think we got a couple
here. Yeah, you were freezing up. Yeah. Okay. We got a couple questions that came in. I wanted to see if you can answer a couple of these questions. So I have Jason G from Hackensack, New Jersey says, Garrett, how much does an individual's genetics dictate how much someone responds to a specific peptide or compound?
Absolutely, extremely a lot. Everybody's genetics are different. You're going to respond differently to a compound, whether it's a peptide, whether it's a steroid, whether it's anything. I've used it before, and I've said it, these top pro bodybuilders, I mean the top of the top, okay? Their body reacts differently to everything, to training, to compounds, to everything than other people's bodies will, okay? They explode off of them. Otherwise, if everybody could take the same drug, everybody would be walking around looking like Mr. Olympia, right? So, yes, genetics play a huge role in things, especially the peptides, because you have to understand, and I tell people this, your immune system plays a part in this, because there's certain people's immune systems, they will look at peptides entered in their body as a foreign substance and refuse it and fight against it. And people don't realize that. So yes, genetics play a huge role in how you react to it. Now, does that mean, if the next question that anybody would be, well, genetically, could that mean then peptides could harm you? No. What that means is it will be certain compounds will be more effective. I'll use a perfect example. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. Okay, this was just yesterday. And we were talking about the SLU PP332. Okay. And I had commented, the SLU PP332 with the BAM 15. I personally, I love it, blah, 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 blah. They gave me they were getting side effects from certain things. Their body responds differently than my body responds to it. That's a perfect example right there. Okay. Yep. Where I take it and I basically, I don't get any side effects. Somebody else will get side effects all of it. Other things too. Look how, some people turn around and they say, I've heard this a lot with people. They say from the glow or the KCU, they'll get oily skin. I've heard some people say that. Oh yeah, it seems like my skin's a little oily. I mean, it seems like it's smooth and everything. It seems a little oily. I don't get that at all. I mean, I don't, but I've never had oily skin. I never had it. When I was younger, I never had acne problems or anything. I've never had oily skin in my life.
Mhm.
So again, that's genetics. If you're predetermined to have oily skin, I guarantee you, then the KCU will probably give you oily skin as an adult.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Did you ever have the trend cough from Tren or whatever? You never had the trend
never,
cough. See, I've had
never,
it.
ever, ever.
Wow.
See,
Okay.
never, ever, ever, ever. Now, when I use Tren, it would I would sweat at a different level. Yeah.
Correct.
The sweat was different level. I mean, like drenched through. I would train and you could wring my. It was ridiculous. But I sweat a lot when I train anyway. That's But it was absurd. Also, Tren. I would have trouble sleeping sometimes. I would wake up all the time. But I never got the Tren cough. Never, ever, ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we got another question here. And this one was an interesting one. This one's from Chris T. And he says, Garrett, Dave Palumbo says the more a peptide claims to do, the less it probably actually does. Any truth to this? Go ahead.
I saw it yesterday somewhere. I plead the fifth. No. All right. So I actually saw him make that statement also. So
oh, you did?
Chris,
Okay.
I saw this. I saw him make that statement. Okay. So that question right there, I smiled right away because I heard that. You got to understand something. And let me start out with this. And I've said it before on here. And I don't bash people. I give credit where credit's due. Dave knows a lot when it comes to bodybuilding, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to steroids. Dave does not know enough does not know a lot when it comes to peptides. Okay? That is a new subject for Dave, and that's the honest truth. And maybe he can admit that. Maybe he'll stomp his feet and say, I know plenty. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's factual. He does not know that much when it comes to peptides. He had a peptide expert on recently, and they weren't even, it was a mess. Okay. It was a mess. I know you have your marks for Dave out there. You have your shills for Dave out there. Okay. And usually these marks for Dave all have their profile picture of them with their shirt off. And with all due honesty, my morning shit is usually bigger than these people. And it's more defined also. But that's not here nor there. They like to right away, a couple weeks ago, somebody made a comment. Dave can debate him on peptides. Remember that comment?
Yep.
My first comment was, and I responded to it, and I said, wow, you're out here writing checks for Dave that you can't cash. You see what I'm saying? Like if somebody said, Garrett can do, hold on a minute, come ask me first. You know what I mean? But anyway, Dave does not know a lot about peptides. He's a little bit more older school. Okay. He wasn't around with the peptides and everything. That claim right there, the less it probably actually does, not true at all. Okay. Now, if you see a peptide out there that's saying it's going to reverse the aging trend, it's going to make you look, if you're 50, you're going to look 20. Okay, yeah, that's bullshit. But what these peptides are claiming, whether it's mitochondrial, cellular, skin, collagen, each peptide's claims for things that joints, tendons, ligaments, all this. No, it works. They're designed to work that. And if one step further, Dave saying that, I think was proven wrong last week by the FDA approving peptides, many peptides.
Yep.
So by Dave saying that right there, I think it was proven wrong just last week by the FDA.
Yep.
So while Dave knows a lot, and he does,
Yep.
I think he's concentrating on peptides, to be honest with you.
Yep. 100%. I mean, I've known Dave. I personally know Dave. I have his number and everything. He's very smart, but watching his shows for all those years I've done and talked to him, he hasn't been bringing up peptides until recently because it's been out in the news. He's never brought them up before. And I've talked to you years ago about peptides. So I knew right away he maybe doesn't know as much. And like Dave is tremendously smart. He knows, he almost was a doctor. Very, very knowledgeable when it comes to bodybuilding. But peptides, I think, is a little bit off. He's a little bit old school, doesn't know. Like I said,
yeah, exactly. And he just started talking about peptides real recent. Exactly. You're right.
Yeah, recently. Yeah. It wasn't really that long. All right, Garrett, we are going to wrap up, guys. You can subscribe. Garrett, where can they find you on Instagram?
Pope Trading, Instagram, all one word, POPE Trading. Go ahead, DM me, ask me whatever you want. Do paid consults, training, peptides, nutrition, you name it.
All right, guys. All right, we will see you next week. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later, Garrett.
See you next week.
Got it.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Body builder coding. Gears on the course.